you've got a lot of interesting information on how California has created this disaster, which they, of course, are trying to blame on climate change, right?
I think the key thing to realize is that it's very easy to have abundant, reliable electricity. We know how to use this. We know how to do this, rather. And the reason we're not doing it is bad policy. We know that with enough natural gas, coal, and nuclear power plants, we could have plenty of electricity for every situation. Heat waves are easy to deal with if you just use modern, reliable electricity. But California has insisted on what I call unreliables. They call them renewables, but unreliables is a better term. So using a lot of unreliable solar and wind, and then trying to shut down as many reliable power plants as possible. And the predictable result is when we have a heat wave or any other high demand on electricity, we have shortages and often blackouts.
And how do they do this? I mean, they've obviously they've managed to, I think, incentivize only these unreliables, these renewable energy sources, and they're trying to basically push down, traditional nuclear. I'm sorry, well, nuclear is one of them, but you've got natural gas, you've got coal. They're trying to get rid of that, and they're using the government to kind of force the issue.
Yeah, definitely. So if people look on Twitter, I have a new piece called Electricity Emergency. And one thing I talk about is there are three core ways in which unreliable electricity is rewarded. So one way is it's sometimes mandated, which we do to a significant extent, having mandates of so-called renewables. It also gets huge subsidies, so getting paid more than reliable electricity. And then the most perverse thing, which exists almost everywhere, is there's no payment penalty. There's no pricing penalty for selling unreliable electricity. So you're allowed to sell an unreliable product into the grid for the same price as a reliable product. Who would anyone charge the same for a car that worked a third of the time than a car that works all the time? And yet we actually pay more for the car that works a third of the time. So is it any wonder we have a disastrous grid?